Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from artorai.com. Over the past couple of weeks, quite a few people have asked for a tutorial on using this. It's the Silhouette cutting machine. This is the Portrait 3. I did look for the Portrait 3 and I'm not sure if it's been discontinued or not, but I will try and search for it. Otherwise I'll leave links to some similar ones in the description. So to use a cutting machine you need obviously the hardware, which is this, but you also need the software. The software is where you do all of the design, and then you put the card or the paper or whatever it is that you're trying to cut into here, and you send the design from your software to your machine and it cuts it out. So first of all I'm going to pass over to my computer and we'll go and download and configure the software. Right, the first thing to do is actually go to the silhouetteamerica.com website and download the software. It's free for everyone to download. Just select either Windows or Mac. Right, so just click to download, enter your email, click that you're not a robot, and then download. And once you've done that, install it and open it up. This is what you'll be faced with. This is Silhouette Studio 5. Now if you see here, this is where I've been practicing for this tutorial. So recent library files, so anything you've created will be shown here for ease of access. Down there are other things that you might be interested in. So now you can just ignore that if you want and just go to design. Right, this is where all the magic happens. Any new software comes with a learning curve, and this is no different. But I am going to show you the absolute very basics of just putting together a file that you can send through the machine. I have Silhouette Studio Business Edition, so it comes with all of the features. For instance, the free edition won't come with these. These are flexi shapes, really handy. But please don't rush out and buy a machine. Don't rush out and buy the business version of the software until you're absolutely sure that that's what you want. I would hate to think that you wasted your money. So, page setup. The top right here, here's your page setup guide. So first setup, I would use your setup guide. So this is Portrait. This is a Portrait 3. I can't find a Portrait 3 anywhere. I've looked all over for them, so I'm not sure what kind of look you'll get, but there are different kinds of portraits. Mine's 3. Auto sheet feed, you don't need to worry about that. Manual feed. The mat will come with the machine, but so mine got completely unsticky a long time ago, so I just ordered more from Temu and they're absolutely fine. So I've just got auto. What media will you be using? Well, I'm just going to select letter now because it doesn't have A4 there, so I'm just going to get started. So then you can go over to here and now I can select the media size, which is A4, and on this I always put show grid, show guides, ruler, snap to grid, snap to guides. So these are the ones I always have selected. It makes it easier to place your graphics on there. If you come down to this one, this is registration, enable registration marks. So these registration marks are what your machine looks for before it starts to cut. It needs to be able to see these. And if you want to, if you're going to have a lot of things on your page and you're going to have to squeeze them in, you can move them like that, which is what to be honest, it's what I mostly do, especially if I want a lot of graphics on one page, but I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. So, how to add your graphics? Well, up here you have a library. This is where everything is synced. So if you save things to your library, if you install the software on another machine and log in with your account, it will sync to the library. So everything that you've created and saved to the library will sync to whichever machine that you're using, so you always have access to them. But what I'm going to look at here is free with machine, and double click on Portrait, and what we have here are all the free graphics that come with the machine. I honestly don't know if you get these graphics when you just download the software or not. I'm not sure about that. I didn't even think to check, to be honest. But I'm going to show you the difference between adding one from this library and adding an image that you import yourself. So what should we have a look at here? I chose the butterfly, didn't I? So I'm going to double click on the butterfly. I mean, that's really massive. So because it's so big, you can either resize it like that, or you can go up here to width and height, and as long as this is locked, whichever width or height you select, it will automatically make everything the correct aspect ratio. So I'm going to arrange that there. Now if you look, this has a red line all the way around. This is what your machine will be looking for. I'm not going to go into all the details about cutting out different parts of your image, because that's not for this tutorial. This tutorial is just the very basics to get you cutting out some graphics. This space around here is called the offset. So it already has this offset border around there. So it looks as though any image that you import from the library that comes free with a machine is already going to have that border and that offset, which is great. But if you want to add your own image, don't select open, select merge, because this select and merge will add it onto the same page instead of opening a new one. I'm going to select an image. That's way too big. So I'm going to select it and click on the width. I'm going to input something like 2.5 inches. There we go. Perhaps I'll have that a little bit smaller, like that. Now you can see that one does not have that offset border around there. So I'm going to click on it and go up here to offset. Click offset. That brings up the border. Now that's a bit too big, so what I'm going to do is just take it down just a little bit. Not too much, because it needs to be able to cut it properly. And when you're happy with it, just click apply. Now if we were going to cut these, we would take it to the send panel. There's not much to do on here. First of all, I haven't connected my cutting machine to my computer yet. I'll do that later. But this is just plain cardstock. You've got all your different papers and all your different things that you can cut here, but obviously we're just doing plain cardstock. I have an auto. We don't want to cut score. We don't want to score or sketch or anything like that. So I'm just going to put it to auto. You don't normally have to change anything in here unless you're changing the cardstock that you're using. So what you need to do is go up here, and this will select the line colour. Now you can see there that there are two lots of red on this one. That one just has the one line all the way around, the one red line. This one has two. So we can switch on and off the lines here. So if we turn that one on, for instance, that turns on the butterfly lines, and that means all of those will be cut out as well. We don't want that, so we turn that off. Now if we turn these off one by one, that turns off the butterfly cut lines. We don't want that. And you can see there that turns off all of the lines. That has two lots of cut lines on there. That's not what we want. So I'm going to go back to design. I'm going to go right in, and you can see that these are both red. That line and that little line around there are both red. So I'm going to click on that if I can. I'm going to go up to the lines here, line colour, and change it to a different colour. Now that's changed to blue, if you can see that now. So I'm going to zoom back out, go to send again, and now you can see, if we zoom in, that now has a blue cut line all the way around. We do not want to cut those, so we deselect that. And that's how we get just the red cut line. So now all that's going to cut are those red lines around there. Right, so now I am going to go back to design, zoom out a little bit. Now if you wanted to move this and you moved it like that, that's going to leave the cut line there. We don't want that, so we'll put it back where it was. But what we can do is select it, select all of it, come up here to object and group. That means now they're all grouped together and we can move that to wherever we like. That one's already grouped. Now supposing I want to fill this whole page with these images because I want to cut a lot of them out. I mean, you can do that with as many images as you want, just cut out different ones if you want. But what I'm going to do is select both of them. So I'll go back up to here, click object, replicate, duplicate below. And you can keep doing that. So there you go. That'll do for now. This is, like I said, this is just a very basic tutorial showing you how to cut some general graphics. There's so much more you can do with this software. It's incredible, really. I will actually leave a link to a channel that goes into great detail, beginner to advanced, about how to use the Silhouette Studio software. It's amazing what you can do with it. So now I'm going to go up to save as. I'm going to save it to my library. I'm going to save it as demo, and if you want to, you can also save it to your hard drive. So that's called demo as well. So I am going to connect my cutting machine to my computer and I'll show you how easy it is to cut those out. Right, now back to the machine. I'm not going to send the design yet because I want to show you how to set this up. So I've already shown you that. It does have Bluetooth, which is great because it means you don't need the cable that came with the machine. But this is what's called an auto blade. An auto blade, you can get different blades for your portrait, for your silhouette machines, but I use the auto one because it just seems to cut everything nicely, everything that I need anyway. So to install it, all you need to do is sort of, if I can pull that out, you pull that out, if you can see that, you lift out the blade, and to install it you just put it back in. Oh, sorry, you can't quite see what I'm doing. And then push that in like that. And that's just how easy it is to install the blade. I'm going to get some card. I was going to use my 250 GSM card, but I can't find it, so this is 300 GSM. So you also need this. You need like a sticky sheet. So you do get a sticky sheet with the machine. But to be honest, I mean, they don't last that long really. It depends on how often you use the machine. So I buy these from Temu, just generic ones, and they work absolutely brilliantly. I've never had any problems. This is an old backing sheet from sticker paper. I just put that on there just to sort of try and keep it a bit tidy, make it last a bit longer. So when you put on the card, or whatever you want to cut, there are two measurements here. You've got 8.5 by 11, which will be the American letter size, and we have the A4 size, which is obviously the British one. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see this, I'll just move that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I hope you can see this properly. So the A4 mark is there, so I'm going to put that on. I mean, don't forget, I haven't printed this yet. This has got to be printed using the software that I showed just before. But I'm just going to show you how to place that on there. So whatever you're cutting, you need to put it as close to the A4 line and as close to the top line as possible. It does not need to be absolutely perfect. Do your best. It doesn't need to be perfect because don't forget, we're going to have those registration marks on the card once we print. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into the software and then I'm going to show you how to put it through the machine. Did I say I managed to find 250 GSM card stock I can't remember, but I found some 250 GSM cardstock instead of 300, so I'm going to use that instead. Go to File and Print. Now if you press Print again, it should bring up your printer's configuration there. So I'm going to go to Preferences. Yeah, plain paper, I guess. I don't need it to print borderless, but the quality needs to be high. That's what I'm going to select. So if you're going to be, I don't know, selling designs to other people or using them on your own projects, it's up to you what you select, but I always select high because my printer is an EcoTank printer. It uses very little ink and it lasts forever. It's great. So I'll just click OK and Apply and Print. And there we go, and you can see there, that's where we added the registration marks, and there's one at the bottom as well. So I'm going to set up the card onto the sticky mat to put it through the printer, sorry, to put it through the cutting machine. So you can see it's printed out nicely. Now we need to make sure that we place it on here, as I showed you before, as closely as possible. But like I say, because of the registration marks, the machine should know exactly where to cut. Put this over here, lift up the lid, and I'm going to put it just before this line here. I don't know if you can see that, sort of an etched line there. I'm going to put it just before that, making sure it's going the right way. Got the arrow there, so I'm going to put it just there, and then I press the up button. Oops, right, make sure it's switched on. Right, now I'm going to place it there, press the up button, that feeds it. Just make sure you have space front and back from your machine to make sure that it can cut properly, that the paper can move backwards and forwards. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm now going to close that. Hopefully that will help the machine to pick up the registration marks. So now I'm going to go to the send panel, and if you remember, we just had the two red lines there selected, and for some reason it's not picking it up. Now it seems to be detecting it. There we go. If you look here, this is the card stock. I'm just going to leave that as it is for now. Auto blade. There you can see. So you can also adjust the force and the speed. I'm going to leave it at 3. There. And I'm just going to see how it goes, because usually the default settings that come with the machine are okay. So I'm just going to click send and then watch it go through the machine. And there we go. Cutting is not a fast process, as you might have noticed. And I have noticed on here that I should have made the outline, the inset, a little bit larger. Never mind, that's just to show you. It's all a learning process. This is just to show you how to use the machine. So you lift that up and you press the down key. That sends it out. We can turn this off now because we're finished with it. Right, when you're taking off the sheet, first of all, it's best to make sure that, yeah, that hasn't cut right through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this through again because it hasn't cut right through the card. I obviously didn't have the settings right, so I'm going to put this through again on some higher settings and hopefully it'll cut through this time. So usually when I take off the backing sheet here, there's the sticky mat, I'll turn the page over so the card is facing down, and then I will lift up the mat. This keeps the paper straight. So you can see there, some of them have cut nicely. Look at that, that's cut really, really nicely, hasn't it? Very nice. So some of them haven't cut through. I'm not sure why, but the butterflies have. They've cut really nicely. But for some reason they haven't cut. Perhaps it was because I didn't make the inset larger and it's had quite a lot of sort of fiddly bits to get round. So learn that lesson for next time. I mean, it has cut, but it hasn't quite cut, and it hasn't got as big a white border as I would have liked. So next time I do this, I will make sure that the inset border is wider, so it looks something like that, because these have cut really nicely, haven't they? The butterflies. Can certainly use these for something. Yep, very nice. So I'm going to put the sticker paper backing sheet back on there just to try and stop it from getting all dusty and what have you, and I'll put that back where it normally lives. So there you go. It didn't go quite as planned, but my videos never do. Anybody who's been a subscriber for a while will know that by now. But I think what I'll do is I'll add these. Oh, there's another one coming out. I think I'll add these graphics to the software again, and I'll try and get them cut properly, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what they should look like. So if, like me, you had a bit of a problem with the cardstock cutting, then there are a couple of things you can do. You can increase the passes. So if you have really thick card, you might want it to cut more than once. You might want to have it cut twice around each graphic. But what I've done to see if this will help is I've turned the force up to 23, and I'm going to turn up the blade depth to 5. Hopefully this will put it right, because it is quite thick cardstock. I don't think I need to increase this unless I was cutting like really thick card or something else, but I'll have a go and see what happens with that now. I'm quite pleased this has happened, because what I forgot when I'm cutting these is that I can turn off the cut for the butterflies. I don't need to cut those again, I just need to cut these again. So I'm going to change this to cardstock textured heavy, and if you can see, it changes the settings here, but I am still going to increase the blade depth to number 5 as I did before, but it's turned the force right up. So I'm going to put this through again, this time just cutting out the pumpkins, and we'll see how we go on with that. Right, if it hasn't cut through this time, I will probably scream. It looks as though it has, so I'll just turn that over. Ah, there we go. So yes, it all depends on your blade. I'm not bothered about the butterflies not cutting through, that's the least of my worries. But it could be your blade, it could be the settings on your software, your cut settings. But they have all cut out really, really nicely. So there you go. This has been a tutorial on what to do and what not to do. But if you can see there, that's cut out really nicely, and I think the white border around is just a nice size. I don't think it needs to be any wider or any thinner. I think they look really good. Have these cut? No, they haven't cut through, but to be honest, yes they have. But I wasn't bothered about the butterflies because I already have some of those. I was only really bothered about these, getting the settings right for the cut. It's possibly because it's a bit of a more intricate design, but it could be the blade, as I said, it could be the force settings, but that has definitely worked. So before you waste ink in your printer, put your card through the cutting machine without printing anything off, just to make sure that you get the right settings and it can cut through properly. That's what I should have done, to be honest. I should have put some cardstock through to make sure it cut through properly and then printed, but never mind, it's been salvaged. So there you go. I don't know if this was at all helpful, because I always seem to make mistakes when I do my videos, but I do like to leave those mistakes in. Hopefully it can help somebody else. I'm not an expert on this. I will leave a link below, as I said before, to a channel where you can get loads and loads of help and advice and tips on using the Silhouette software. There's so much you can do with it. It's really, really good. But like I said, it all comes with a learning curve, and if you're willing to put in the time and effort, it doesn't take long to pick it up, really. So I really appreciate you watching, and now we're going to get on to the giveaway winner. Right, I use this software called TubeBuddy, and it allows me to pick a random comment from whichever video I like, and I'm going to use that now to pick a winner for my latest giveaway. And the winner is Pebbles Leonard's. Oh well, you know who you are. So well, congratulations anyway. I'll leave a link in the description where you can send me your details. You can send me your name and your address, obviously, and I will get those things on the way to you as soon as possible. Well done. Bye.